Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
We met just before you were pushing off to the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Right, sir.
What did I tell you right after that? At the end of the debrief, wish the lady first, invariably.
Yes, sir. I remember that. Good. You said there is no need to wish everyone. Just good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sirs.
अभी मिस हो गया ना?
Yes, sir.
चलो कोई बात नहीं. Introduce yourself all over again to the board.
Sir, I belong to the town of Kumta in coastal Karnataka, but I did my schooling in Pune, post which I moved to Bangalore for my +1, +2 and my engineering. In the final year of engineering, I decided to prepare for the civil services exam. And after 2 unsuccessful attempts, I started working, and my professional background, my professional career took me to various places in State Bank of India, then ESI Corporation, then SEBI, and currently I'm in the IRS. My hobbies are solo traveling, learning new scripts, and visiting historical sites.
Please.
Okay, Vikram,
Yes, sir.
you lived at various places, mainly Pune, then Bangalore, now in Mumbai.
Yes, sir.
So how do you compare these three cities? Which one is the best as per your assessment?
Sir, I feel in terms of the ease of life, where you can balance the various aspects of your life, and you can enjoy good civic services also. I feel Pune is good. And in terms of the fast-paced life or the sort of life that gives a lot of opportunities to learn, I feel Mumbai compares to the best.
So Bangalore you have ruled out.
Yes, sir. Bangalore is a mix of both.
Okay. You have a hobby, learning new scripts.
Yes, sir.
Which scripts you have learned?
Sir, the initial scripts that I learned were as a part of my school itself, that is Devanagari script and English script, which I learned in 3 languages, that is Marathi, Hindi as well as Sanskrit. And then I also learned Kannada at home itself because it was my mother tongue. And post that I learned the Russian and the Greek script. And I also learned the Telugu and the Gujarati scripts as well because it's similar to Devanagari and Kannada respectively.
And which is our ancient script supposed to be Indian? Any idea?
Sir, one of the ancient scripts is the Brahmi script, and also the Kharoshti script, which was in the northwest frontier of.
What was the difference between Kharoshti and Brahmi? I'm talking of Mauryan Brahmi. So hope you are talking of Mauryan or Gupta Brahmi. There were 2 Brahmis.
Sir, I'm not aware of the difference per se in the 2 Brahmis.
So Mauryan and Kharoshti. Mauryan Brahmi and Kharoshti.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
What are the sources of, where do you see these scripts written?
Sir, the Brahmi script can be seen in the various historical sites in North India. For instance,
Historical means who wrote?
Sir, recently I had been to Vidisha, where I saw the Heliodorus pillar, Madhya Pradesh, Vidisha. So there, inscription was written in the Brahmi script.
Okay.
So that belongs to around 3rd century BC, which can be called as the Mauryan era.
Okay. And Kharoshti?
Sir, Kharoshti, I personally have not seen the Kharoshti script in any of the places that I visited.
Mainly our sources are inscriptions, and mainly oldest which we can date back is Ashokan or Mauryan. Okay. So what similarity you see in different script you learn, Indian scripts basically?
Sir, in the Indian scripts, as opposed to the scripts like Russian and also the English script for that matter, we see the basic consonants being used, the vowels being used first.
So you see the similarity in Devanagari and this also, English.
South Indian scripts also. Sir, the similarities?
Yeah.
The similarities, I'm not aware of the similarities, sir. The differences I feel were starker.
Okay. So do you agree that when we say that all our languages, they originated from Sanskrit, whether South or North or East or West India? What is your opinion in this? Do you agree with this statement?
Sir, I agree that up to a huge extent, I feel that even today, many Sanskrit words are found in almost all the regional languages of India. But at the same time, there were many other influences also.
You opted for IFS.
Yes, sir.
Number one. Only 3 services you opted this time, and IFS is number 1. Very good. So, don't you think these days India is facing little tough time, like we had in Maldives, in China also? It's not getting any better.
Sir, India certainly faces challenges when it comes to dealing with the new president in Maldives. But I feel that at the same time, it's also a lot to do with the local politics of that particular country. And also when it comes to China, India has done well in maintaining its posture at the
What about Canada and USA? There were controversies.
Sir, there were controversies when it came to the planned assassination of.
Do you think that we handled it well, or we should have done something more?
Sir, I feel we handled it well if you look at the larger picture. When it came to Canada, India already had tough relations with Canada. So India responded much more aggressively to Canada when it came to the killing of Mr. Nijjar. But when it came to the so-called planned assassination of Mr. Pannu in US, India did not respond with the same aggression, considering India's larger ties with.
You think they had no evidence that regarding Pannu case?
Yes, sir, that's also true.
That's also true.
Yes, sir, I feel that the statement.
That may be assumption. They have evidence. Okay, thank you.
Vikram,
Yes, sir.
continuing from your def, I saw that you have worked in SEBI also.
Yes, sir.
What was your assignment in SEBI?
Sir, I was working as assistant manager, grade A.
Okay.
I was working in a department of debt and hybrid securities.
Okay.
So we looked into the 6 areas, that is real estate investment trust, infrastructure investment trust, municipal bonds, green bonds, and credit rating agencies and debenture trustees. And the department was involved in end-to-end aspects like registration of new entities, as well as inspection of the existing entities, and even the policy making when it comes to these entities.
Okay, you tell me the SEBI and we have another financial regulator, RBI.
Yes, sir.
Is there any overlapping in their job function somewhere?
Yes, sir, there is overlapping. For example, when it came to credit rating agencies, one of the aspects that we were regulating, the registration of credit rating agencies comes under the ambit of SEBI. But when it comes to the credit rating for the debt raised by banking entities, that comes under the ambit of RBI. And also the government securities, the issue of government securities is the job of RBI. But when it comes to trading in a secondary market, that is the job of SEBI.
What about these fintech companies? They come under the jurisdiction of which? SEBI control them or RBI?
Sir, fintech companies are mainly controlled by the RBI.
All fintech companies?
Sir, except for the ones that are listed. For example, Paytm was a listed fintech company. So for listed companies,
Which
SEBI
have
was-
become NBFCs. What do you mean by NBFC?
Sir, a non-banking financial company is one of the entities under the network called shadow banks. So they are not regulated at the same level as banks, and they have certain restrictions when it comes to taking deposits. But at the same time, there are deposit-taking NBFCs also.
Okay. You have taken pole science and IR as your
Yes,
optional, but you have done BTech. Hai na?
Yes,
Any
sir.
reason for taking pole science?
Sir, one was the fact that political science had international relations also, which happens to be my interest field and my service of first choice. Also, an honest reason would be that it was one of the optional subjects that was doing well.
Okay. There is one statement made by a senior foreign diplomat that UN was created not to take the mankind to heaven, but to save it from hell. What do you mean by that statement?
Sir, I feel that statement gives a fairer assessment of the UN. Of late, we have seen a lot of the global or the bilateral issues between countries that UN has seemingly failed to resolve. For example, Israel-Palestine issue, the Russia-Ukraine issue. but also it sort of gives a fairer assessment of the UN in the sense that it looks at the areas where UN has been successful also. For example, in the Russia-Ukraine war, UN has succeeded in giving aid, humanitarian aid to Ukraine and even to the Palestinian territories.
What do you think now we are moving towards a new world order? Now that era of UN is going down and we are moving towards a new world order?
Sir, I do feel that more and more regional and plurilateral institutions these days are coming to the fore. But I don't think that the UN will cease to exist at any point in the near future. So its relevance will continue to exist. But for more harder geopolitical issues, its effectiveness might be limited.
So these regional alliances, they are playing a major role nowadays compared to UN, like BRICS, or you can say Quad. What do you think? They are more important now for the countries rather than the UN as a whole?
Sir, based on the recent events, it can be said that the relevance of regional institutions has increased for countries because they find it easier to negotiate with like-minded partners compared to UN or even any of the other international bodies. Like in WTO, we saw that the recent ministerial conference was not able to make any new breakthrough in the problematic issues.
What is this BRICS Plus? Now we talk about BRICS Plus. Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, BRICS Plus refers to the addition of the 6 new members to BRICS, of which only Argentina has refused to be a part, but the other 5 countries have agreed to join the BRICS.
Was China trying to include any particular country in the BRICS? Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. I think Iran is one of the countries that China is trying to.
No, Iran is already become member.
Yes, sir.
But it could not succeed. Are you aware? It tried for Pakistan.
I'm sorry, sir. I was not
My
aware.
last question. What is why China's economy has become stagnant now? What do you see the reasons for that?
Sir, I feel the main reason is the political regime under Xi Jinping trying to gain back control of the private sector. And recently it was seen that Evergrande, one of the largest real estate companies, it suffered from a financial crisis and the Chinese state did not intervene to help shore it up. And even the other entities like Alibaba, under Mr. Jack Ma, its IPO was not allowed to come out.
Tell me, you mentioned about real estate. Why the real estate was not picking up in China? Any specific reason?
Sir, I feel it's because the real estate faced a lot of it was a sort of a real estate bubble in the sense that the demand was very high. The supply was very high, but the demand was not commensurate to that because China faces a lot of inequality in its domestic economy. So the real estate market is heavily skewed towards only the certain high net worth individuals. And because of that, the demand was not commensurate.
There are some external factors also. You can go through it later on. Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you, sir.
Good morning, Vikram. Good morning. So, heaven and hell was mentioned in that statement by the honorable member. I want you to respond to this. Gender equality is an opportunity for humanity.
Gender equality as an opportunity to humanity.
For humanity, yeah.
I feel that this statement sort of signifies the importance of gender equality in various aspects of life. For instance, the ex-IMF chief had said that if women equality is there in the economic sector, then there can be an increase of 27% of GDP. And also in other sectors like in the political aspect, having a more the inputs of female leaders in foreign policy can actually help in reducing the acrimony between various states. And even in the social sphere, having women rights at the same level as the rights for men might make the society a better place.
So what would you do to advance this cause of gender equality as a diplomat?
Ma'am, as a diplomat, one idea can be to engage in public diplomacy with the women of our friendly nations. That can actually help in getting bringing in an outreach and getting the ideas of women also in foreign policy, and this can include the collaboration with various women-oriented NGOs and developmental projects for women, especially in countries of the global south.
But you have to do at a policy level, right? You're not going to be implementing anything in country. So do you believe that the government of India should have a feminist foreign policy? A lot of countries have, you would be aware.
I feel that feminist foreign policy will be in line with the idea of Indian foreign policy, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Even domestically, we have implemented many female-friendly projects, which is with the idea of Nari Shakti. And even in G20, we saw that the idea of Nari Shakti received a fillip. So I feel that will be in line with the goals of India.
So the next stage should be a feminist foreign policy, right?
Yes, ma'am, to some extent.
So, to some extent, you're not convinced.
I feel that when it comes to diplomacy, or rather the hard factors that sort of create aggression between nations. For example, the Israel-Hamas issue. So there, India has tried to take a balanced position in line with its wider foreign policy goals. So if we look at it from a humanitarian perspective or a women-oriented perspective, that may, up to some extent, even be at loggerheads. But India has also tried to...
That's how. I didn't get it, because at one hand you said that if women are in decision making, they also contribute to peace, and peace is more sustainable, right? But they are not in those positions. So we have the Women, Peace and Security resolution in the UN.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of that?
Ma'am, are you referring to the Beijing Declaration?
I didn't get your point on how we will, if you have a feminist foreign policy, if I understood you correctly, it would not help in the Hamas-Israeli conflict.
I was not saying that it will not help. I was trying to say that, let's say we are thinking of one of the UN Security Council resolutions that India is forced to take a stand on. So in that case, let's say we veto one of the resolutions that comes to a ceasefire. For example, one of the first resolutions in the Israel-Palestine issue, India decided to abstain.
But I don't think that is linked to a feminist foreign policy. You might want to see what a feminist foreign policy entails. It's really engaging, putting women, prioritizing women, right? And ensuring that their participation is at all levels. So Canada, I know, has the Scandinavian countries also have, right, a feminist foreign policy. So I leave you with the thought. Think about it.
Sure.
And if you get into the IFS, you might want to champion this cause of a feminist foreign policy.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Vikram, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, you speak Kannada?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what happened to this Rameshwaram cave blast? What was the core problem there?
Sir, the Rameshwaram cafe blast, as far as the evidence after that has pointed to, it's probably showing one of the aspects of creating terror in the minds of the people living there.
Okay. So, you are there in Bangalore as well as Mumbai. So, you are well aware of Karnataka state government policies as well as Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
So, on one side, Karnataka has been demanding for the financial devolution justice. On the other hand, Maharashtra, which is getting the least compared to other states, compared to its contribution. is not getting into these demands. So what problem do you see? Is the demands of Karnataka government justified, or in fact Tamil Nadu as well?
Sir, I feel one of the data given by the Chief Minister of Karnataka while arguing for this cause was that for every rupee that Karnataka gives as a tax to the center, it receives only a certain percentage of it.
But Maharashtra receives much lesser percentage
Yes, sir.
compared to Karnataka.
Yes, sir. So at the same time, I feel that the center has contributed to various projects also, the metro project or the nice road in the project in Karnataka. So various capital expenditure projects have been executed in Karnataka. So I feel that this has to be looked holistically and not just in terms of the tax devolution.
Okay, one more thing. Some of the parties are coming up with a right to employment election manifesto because it's an election season. So being a political science student, what impact do you think it will have on fundamental rights?
Sir, I feel that in one way it can give a boost to the fundamental rights. For example, the right to work, if we look at the right to life itself, or even some of the directive principles of state policy, right to employment might give a boost to these aspects. But if you also look at the other things like the fiscal fundamentals of that particular state that is trying to come up with right to employment, that might face long-term challenges. If we, for example, urban employment, urban Manrega scheme has been propounded by certain states.
That's all fine, but what impact do you have it or it will have on fundamental rights as such? So do you think the irrevocable nature of fundamental rights can be compromised in future? Pointing that it can be revoked, this can be revoked in future. Right to food can be revoked or right to education can be revoked. Something like that.
Sir, I feel that it might increase the threshold of fundamental rights as we know it today. But at the same time, because of the challenges it faces fiscally, it might also cause intergenerational inequity when it comes to economic rights. So it's possible that in future, because of the fiscal problems that the state faces, the similar rights can be difficult to implement. For example, the right to food or the right to some of the basic items like cooking gas and housing, these can face challenges in case this is not implemented right.
Okay, fine. So two last questions. I need quick responses. So important traits for a diplomat.
So I would say three important traits. One is equanimity. One is the ability to negotiate and find a common ground. And the third is empathy for the various parties and their stands.
Okay, and last question. What potential you see or what strategies India is taking up to strengthen its maritime neighbors?
India has taken the initiative of Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region, as part of its maritime manifesto, and it has formed various groups such as Indian Ocean Naval Symposium and the Colombo Security Conclave and Indian Ocean Commission. It's part of the Indian Ocean Commission that France leads, and the Indian Ocean Regional Association for the Indian Ocean Rim Association for Regional Cooperation, and also the Information Analysis Center in Gurgaon, which helps in maritime domain awareness. And it's also part of the idea of free and open Indo-Pacific and securing sea lanes of communication, and also humanitarian response to the various countries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all the best.